Welcome, welcome. Here we go. We're doing Parshas Baloscha, the Rebbe's talk. Kach Sivan, the 28th of Sivan. The Rebbe's talk after the giving of the Torah, with the end of the month that the Torah was given. He talks about how specifically in our times, we're actually getting more revelation than the Jews got when they had at Mount Sinai. Okay, so everybody's saying we're actually in this time of receiving the Torah Chadasha, the new Torah that it says will come out. He says it's not completely new because it was encoded and embedded in the Torah that was given to Moshe and Har Sinai. Like everything was encoded and embedded, and similar to the Rebbe says to what it was like in the revealed parts of Torah, that there was a lot of embedded things in Torah that weren't exactly revealed the way they were expounded upon in later generations, how they were related to the practicality of how they're applied, how the rulings came out. Those are all embedded in like a code-like way in Torah as it was given in Mount Sinai, and later on revealed through the rabbis, but it was all considered one Torah. It's not like a new Torah completely. The idea when it says the new Torah is going to come out, the idea is that it's going to be so wondrous and so beyond what we could have actually even revealed through a human intellect. It's embedded in Torah, but apparently it's the secrets and the reasons and the inner dimension of Torah that's very hard to come to just with your brain and your human intellect. And then another Sikha, the Rebbe explains that it's going to take, right, the Nevuah, it's going to take the prophecy of Mashiach to be able to actually be able to understand and come to the insights of the understanding the pnimius of Torah, the inner dimensions of Torah in such a way that the inner really secrets could be revealed, but then he'll teach it in such a way that it will be in our brain and in our mind, and it will be understood in a way of human intellect. So it will be accessible to our human mind and our human brain. But to come up with those ideas, you really had to have Hashem revealing it through a prophecy to the Mashiach. And so that's why it's called new, even though it's not new. So there's an aspect of newness because we couldn't access it till then, really, without Mashiach getting a higher insight and higher understanding of Torah. But it's not new because it's really all embedded in Torah. It's all there, just revealed to us now in our times. And so the Rebbe says, since the time of the Baal Shem Tov, that's the time when these inner dimensions have begun to be revealed to us. And this is the Torah of the future. This is the Torah which the Rebbe says is on a deeper understanding, higher level of than the Jews have got revealed to them at Mount Sinai. It's the hidden parts of Torah. So we're we're getting more than they got at Har Sinai at Mount Sinai. Isn't that nice? Does it feel that way when we're learning the Rebbe's Sichos?
How could when Hashem was sitting right next to them giving? I mean, like Hashem was revealed to them.
Right.
Hashem is not revealing himself to us now. We haven't gotten any. So, hocus secrets, right?
We're what?
I said I don't think we've gotten any hocus pocus secrets. You know what I mean?
Well, there was a moment when he said the first 10 commandments, and he did God did reveal himself in such a way that was a very high revelation, but they couldn't accept it and stay human in human bodies. It says their soul left the body. They couldn't retain their connection to the physical when they had such a revelation. So the Rebbe explains that though. So then,
but what I'm saying is the stuff that we're learning, it's not things that would make your soul leave your body, right?
It's not what?
What we're learning.
Yeah.
It's not anything that would make our souls leave our bodies.
Well, no, actually, it would. But the Rebbe says because we've gone through so many years of exile and refining the body, and through all the persecution of the Jewish people. And going through so many trials and tribulations and tests, and we've been refined as a nation. So we're more prepared and ready for these higher insights without going, out of our existence. It makes sense to us. There's godliness revealed to us in a way in our generation, women in our times, compare them to women 100 years ago. Yeah, it's a completely new world of understanding. So imagine us compared to the people in time of the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai. It's a different generation.
So it's new, it's very new.
Well, we've gone through a lot throughout. That's what the Rebbe says. We refined ourselves already throughout all the years of, right? The Torah has been learned and relearned and re-understood and reapplied, and we've gone through a tremendous amount. So by the time we come to our generation, after all the what somebody else would call trauma, okay, whatever you want to call it, the trials and tribulations and the darkness and and we've had to come to a lot of revealing Hashem's light and darkness. We've prepared ourselves for a tremendous amount of light without, with it being, oh, this is what I was waiting for, not, this is great, this is fantastic, not with like, well, I can't live my regular existence with this awareness. No, it just makes total sense, and it's thank God we have it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to manage all this darkness. It'd be too much. Okay, so we have this, and we're like grateful. Good, this helps me get through my day. What would we do without our Dvar Malchus, right? How would we make it throughout the day? We need it. Pasha need it. In the time of the desert, I guess they didn't really need it so much. They had the man, they had the clouds, they had the well. Everything was great. Everything was perfect. They didn't have such a dark world around them. They were surrounded with a lot of holiness. They didn't really need to work so hard. So they didn't need all those great revelations to exist. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I mean, they didn't need the Torah to guide them, I guess, so much to work on themselves to actually even just think that God is the true reality. It was simple over there. Okay. Let's go inside. Hey, so the 20th of Sivan, Dvar Malchus 1991, paragraph 5. עניין זה שגילוי תורה חסידות נותנת הכוח לגלות אלוקות בעולם וביתר שאת ביתר עוז מודגש בלשון יפוצה מנצח החוצה. So he's going back to what he said in the end of paragraph 4, that through revealing the inner dimensions of Torah, which is Hasidus, which is started with the Baal Shem Tov, it gives the power, the koyach, the strength, legalot elokut, to reveal godliness in the world. Okay, that's what the main thing that I was trying to drive at. It's not just to fix our own selves. It's not even just to fix our friends and the people around us, our surroundings. It's to change the world. It's to bring godliness revealed to the world, even the physical objects in the world. That's what the Rebbe has been talking about this week, the past week. So the Rebbe is going to say, let's look at the word chutza. Spreading the well springs outside, right? We know that the Baal Shem Tov had Aliyas Neshama. His Neshama asked Mashiach in the heavenly realms, what do we need to Mashiach to come? And he said, your well springs, when they spread out to the outside, to the chutza, it's called in Hebrew, then Mashiach will be revealed. So what's chutza? The Rebbe wants to say. It says many times, each of the three words in Yafutsu should spread out. Mainasecha, your well springs. Chutza, outside. Each one gives us another clue and expression of really how we need to bring the service, bring the well springs out. And since it's brought in Torah, these words are brought in Torah also, in Mishlei, I guess. Each word shows a truth and a completion of this verbiage, of this lashon, of this way of expression. Where futsu, which means to spread out, should be b'amitius, wholly, completely, b'shlemus, truthfully and wholefully. Ma'anasecha, your well springs, truthfully and wholesome, and completion. B'amitius u'b'shlemus. And v'chutza, to the outside, also with truth in the most truthful way, u'b'shlemus, in the most complete way. And the Rebbe says it's explained more in Pasha Shlach, 1946. Okay, Memvav. More at length. Mat perush chutza. So there was dwelling here more on the word chutzah, to the outside, because there was right. He's trying to drive us to affect the outside world. That's the emphasis here in the Sikha. It seems like this week and the last week also. It seems like if you're spreading it to the outside, further away, is the opposite of completion and wholeness. It seems like if you want to have something whole and complete, you keep it insulated, you keep it holy, you keep it inside. Okay? So there it says, what's the explanation? Since chutza going to the outside, chutz is outside, right? It's brought, it's an expression that it's brought in the Torah of truth. It shows that there's a truth dimension to chutza, to going out. It's explained before, because why? Chutza, okay, I have a little bit of chills. Chutza seems to be like external, outside, far, distant. We want to stay close and insulated, close to the holy source, right? There says, no, if in truth, chutza, there's nothing outside of Hashem. Chutza means outside. And in truth, when you look deeply, and the truth, which is what we're learning in Chassidus, what the real truth is, what the real essence of God is everywhere. So that's what he's saying. There's no outside of God, God forbid. Like it says, there's nothing other than God. There's nothing else other than, there's nothing external or outside of godliness. So even the outside is not really outside. God is there, everywhere. So why does the Torah use the word chutza, to the outside, if it's not really outside of God? So why does it says chutza? Because he's saying that this reveals the truth of what chutza really, really means. Chutza, outside, really, really means, the Rebbe says, how the outside, the external part, the distant part from our perspective, is really revealing godliness, is really revealing Hashem. Adaba, davka betoch ve'alidei hachutz. More specifically, the Rebbe says, specifically because we have something outside that can reveal godliness. How? Ajaba. דווקא בתוך על ידי החוץ תחתונים בהסתר אורו יטבח, ניכרת בגלוי בשלום תכלית השלמות האמת האלוקות. It's specifically through the lower realms where Hashem is hiding his light and we don't see godliness, then we can actually come to the awareness and the recognition in a revealed way of the whole complete purpose of everything, of the true truth of everything, that really there's nothing other than God. Eino milvado. Even in the external realms. And Rebbe puts in little brackets, something which I guess we have to think about because I haven't thought about it yet. What's the brackets? That through the advantage, it's similar to the advantage of nisim, miracles, hamalubashim b'teva, that are enclosed in miracles. So there's an advantage of a miracle. There's miracles that are just miracles. You like blow the circuits and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit with nature. And we see it's clearly a miracle, but there is an advantage of a miracle that's actually enclosed in nature, which is hidden in nature, and it's even a higher level of really revelation because it's hiding. It's hidden, and when we come to that, wow, it's really, we're bringing godliness even to a place where it was not revealed to before. It seemed so normal, it seemed so natural, and it really was. When we feel it was really a miracle, we see, wow, even the miracles, even within nature. Okay, even the rules and laws of nature, as they were followed by rules and laws of nature, was really a miracle. So that's an even higher level of revelation. So that's an idea over here that Dvar was putting at us, which he mentioned earlier, also yesterday, he mentioned about how it's specifically through dealing with the outside, with the Malchus, right? Malchus goes down and creates something new. And it's specifically through going down to the lowest sphere that it can create the next set of spheres. It can create the earth. And the earth specifically is where we can reveal the power of Hashem to create something from nothing. Like you put the seed in the ground, remember we learned this yesterday, seed in the ground decays, something from nothing comes from it. That's the power of, only God can create something from nothing. And so the power of creation, of creating something from nothing, is revealed when we're planting a seed. It's revealed through the earth. The earth gives that power of Yesh Ma'ayin to be revealed. So specifically the coarse earth, the lowliest part, the most dense part of the external part of God is what's revealing God's highest powers, So, yeah. So it's specifically, the Rebbe says, through revealing God in the most distant places, that is where we reveal Hashem's complete, true wholeness. Okay, so it's like that mashal. There's that parable. The Rebbe doesn't bring this mashal, but I remember as a kid we learned this in like high school and stuff. If like we want to reach the king, so a person can go and get very distracted on the way to the king because there's so many rooms and so many. I think Nechama Greisman and Leah Shalom taught us this parable when I was in seminary. The in Yerushalayim, Shav and Aliyah. So her parable was you can go to the king and you can get distracted on the way because there's a lot of beautiful rooms, a lot of beautiful officers, a lot of beautiful, intelligent, and powerful people in the different areas of the palace, and with a lot of maybe banquets and wonderful things, a lot of revelations, of the king on the way, and the person could get sidetracked and not make it all the way to the king's inner chamber. So similar to that, I guess it could apply to this idea of all the higher spheros, the angels and the spiritual worlds and spiritual realms. We could get caught up in entertaining ourselves with Torah on many levels and understandings of and we can get involved in all kinds of not such great pursuits, but even on the spiritual realms. There's a certain amount of revelation that's revealed on the spiritual realms. If we really, really, really want to, though, reveal God's essence in its complete form, the Rebbe was saying we got to bring Hashem into the furthest part where he's most distant and totally not known and reveal that God is there in that space, in that time, in that place, and it's all godliness. Okay, so that's the nicest thing. So I think one thing that we concluded from yesterday, a nice way of putting it is that instead of when we get to a dark place or get to a challenge, instead of complaining, right, and saying, oh, this is this is tough and this is a hard one, and who wants to have to deal with this darkness, and it's not good to have dark. And so instead of getting to that mode, we concluded that Rebbe wants us to come to this point of like, wow, it's specifically through this darkest place that God can be the most revealed. And the more darkness there is, the more light we're revealing and transforming in the darkest place, right? And Chavarach will correct me or added, imbued in it. It's not just we're bringing light into a place, we're transforming, right? And we have to remember that the dark is turning into light itself, and we're making it, like the Rebbe said, into its own luminary, that it can on its own shine. Even the physical things of the world that don't seem to have anything to do with godliness. So the further it is, the more power to it, the more power of Hashem we're revealing in the world, in the darkest, that God can be revealed all the way in the furthest point. Okay, so here we go. So the power, how do we get strength to reveal God in the furthest areas? By bringing the well springs spread out. We're spreading the well springs of the inner dimensions of Torah. Completely and wholly in truth and wholeness. In a way that we reveal the advantage and the strength, the greatness of the chutzah, in the outside. By us learning this concept, that it's the actual outside, the further away, the darker it is, the more we would have what to complain about, right? That's my little side note. The more we would want to complain about it, the more chutzah it is, the more further outside it is, the more it's covered up and, it's not making sense and we don't like it, right? The more, by understanding that, that's helping us to reveal godliness. In a greater way, than it would be if we were just revealing godliness inside of us in a more pure, holy, easy, higher awareness part of ourselves. Okay, so taking it all the way to the outside, outer dimensions, is actually is here. I'll read it again. I think I like this. It's the end of chapter, paragraph 5. The power. How do we have the power to reveal godliness in the outside? It's through spreading the well springs. What are the well springs? Spreading the well springs of the inner dimensions of Torah, which is what we learn, Chassidus. So we learn it and truthfully and wholesomely or in completion. In a way that we reveal the advantage and the power, the great advantage and power of the chutza, of the outside. Meaning, the Rebbe is saying we're not learning. If you want to turn it around, the Rebbe is saying we're not learning Chassidus completely if we're not affecting the outside, the far distant places. If we're not applying our Chassidus into the darkest, most things that we'd want to complain about the most, then we're not learning Chassidus wholly. We're learning it fully and truthfully when we're able to apply it to the chutzah, to the outside, external, where God's not revealed. And to know that the outside, the furthest part, is what's helping us to reveal godliness. Even more, but the outside is helping us to reveal godliness more than the internal part of us that's revealing godliness to a certain dimension, a certain level within us, where there's not such a big challenge. Okay, so that when we learn Chassidus in such a way that we're affecting the outside, and we know that the outside is the best way to reveal godliness in the most potent way, then we have the most power of revealing godliness to the outside, truthfully and hopefully. So that's the end of 5. Let me see who joined. Welcome, and Nasara. And okay, so welcome, Chavar Chalissa, Karen. And if you have any questions, please feel free to take a deep breath. Look at a footnote. If anybody has something to say, you could say it.
Does it mean that we're not spreading it out enough, or does it mean that it's not affecting us enough?
That's a good question.
Really good question. Or both.
Both. Like I would say both.
With Zoom, you can spread it more, right? Like, so you're doing the mitzvah of trying to spread it.
Mm-hmm.
But to go run around in the streets and scream it, then you're going to look really.
Oh, you're funny. I think it's not a matter of screaming. It's a matter of, like you said, trying to reach us, distant of a place. I think the Rebbe was saying, don't feel perturbed if something is covering up godliness. Don't get taken aback and say, okay, so what can we do about it? People aren't interested, or people are not aware, and people don't want to be aware. People are sidetracked. Whatever it is, don't give people excuses. Or this thing is too distant and has nothing to do with godliness. It's not going to change. I remember when I first came to California, when I was 20, when the Rebbe sent us on shlichus to California. So it was in the 80s, and there was no internet yet. Okay, so somebody came to the campus table on campus, and he was like laughing, like he had this very unusual, deep, big, huge, like belly laugh. And he seemed like such a roly-poly, just didn't seem like to be a serious kind of guy. And I was like, in my mind, I was thinking exactly what the Rebbe is negating over here. I was thinking, this guy's never going to be, enlightened and interested in, changing anything in himself and becoming, more in tune with God and keeping mitzvahs. It just was like, forget this guy. Why waste time with him? It's so funny because he became observant. He went to the Rebbe. Actually, he got to see the Rebbe on dollars. And he went to like a few-week program in the Catskills that was specifically for students in the summer. They used to pay the students to come for a few weeks, and they had a program for them, and they got to go see the Rebbe, and he became observant. He's observant till this day. He married an observant woman. But it was like exactly that thought is what the Rebbe was negating. Not to have the thought that this person is so distant, or this concept or this idea or this place is just unmovable. It's too distant. Did you want to say something, Chavrachel?
Oh, sorry. I was answering my husband. He was bringing me something.
Okay, that's so nice.
But I could say something.
Yeah.
Because it asked a really good question. And she asked, is it that we're not spreading it enough or that it's not in us enough? Which I really like that question. And so what I'm thinking is that if we're spreading it and people aren't getting it, sometimes it's up to us to say it better. We have to learn. It has to be in us enough, so it's so clear that it just comes out clear.
Yes.
So I think it's both of those things, but more it's not in us enough. We can't say it yet. We don't know how.
So my thought is we need Chavarocho. We need you to help us say it.
That's what I'm working on.
Yes.
I'm not there yet either.
We're all working on it, but you're a great resource to expressing things. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to paragraph 6, see what else we can get. Yesh lomar, we could say, so Yesh lomar we always know is the Rebbe's Chiddush, the Rebbe's new insight. Yesh lomar shakoch l'zeh, the power to do this, ba me'amasa v'agula shel admor zaken. Actually, we got strength to do this kind of thing, right? Going to the outside and distant places where God's not revealed and transforming it. We got this power from the actual incarceration of the Alter Rebbe and his redemption from incarceration, which happened on the 19th of Kislev. It was also the 3rd month from Tishrei. As we know in the sichas of the rabbis, it was specifically through him being arrested, thrown in jail, brought to court, and charged with terrible charges that he was rebelling against the government, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, how's this applicable today? Okay, so it was specifically through him being put in jail that after he was redeemed, and he discussed that that's when he started spreading Hasidus in a way, way, way far-reaching way than he had ever done before. Okay? Bekesha in Geula Sakosev Admarazaganus, and connected to his Geula, to his redemption, the Alter Rebbe writes, Kshekariti Sefer Tehillim Pasuk Pada B'Shalom Nafshi Yitzati B'Shalom. He said, the Alter Rebbe wrote, when I read the book of Tehillim in the verse, Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, you redeemed my soul in peace, I came out in peace. That's why the Chassidim became accustomed to singing the nigun of "You've redeemed my soul in peace," connected to this time of the Geula, when he was redeemed, in the 19th of Kislev, the 3rd month. Now the Rebbe is saying another chiddush, another new insight. He's going back to this verse from Psalms that the Alter Rebbe said when he was informed that he's being redeemed. The verse is in Tehillim in Psalms, I've redeemed my soul in peace, and it says, and he continues, King David continues, because people who are opposing me, or the multitudes were with me, or imadi could be. If you could help me with this, you could help me with this. Let's see what the Rebbe says. שזמר על כללית העניין שהרבים, רשות הרבים, דכל העולם, מדפודה ומבוד נעשים במצב של היו עמדי, שלא זו בלבד שאין צורך להתייגע ועל כל פנים לעשות מזה משהו כדי שהרבים לא יפריעו, אלא אדרבה, הרבים נמצאים עמדי עד שזה מסייע יותר לרשות ליחידה של העולם שתהיה בתכלית לשנות תכלית האמיתית. Meaning, he said, many were with me means so the word in Hebrew, rabim, can also mean many. It could be. There's a term in halacha, what's called the Reshus Harabim, the place of everybody. It's like public domain. It's called the Reshus Harabim. And when the verse says ki rabim hayu imadi, which is right, the public were with me. So he said he was redeemed because many were with me, or the multitudes or the public were with me. So the Rebbe is saying this alludes to the fact that not only will the public or the outside domain or the external, not only won't oppose us or oppose our work, but they were with me, they're helping me. Okay, and that's the theme that the Rebbe is bringing here, is that the outside, we're affecting the outside in a way that it will be of assistance to us. The world and all the external things that seems to be so distant from God, not only will we, not oppose us, but we'll be transforming them, that they will be vessels that are helping us to reveal God in the world. Okay? So that fits with the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi verse that we say in Tehillim. And because we have this multitude, the outside world, this external part of the world helping us, therefore the redemption is in peace. Without any war. Since similar to what it was in time of Shlomo, King Solomon, all the nations were completely nullified to Shlomo, meaning they knew he was Shlomo's reign was the super reign, the superpower. They just gave him that power without fighting with him. Not only that, they were so, I guess, enamored by him that they helped him. They were imadi, they were together with him. That's why he was called Shlomo. What's Shlomo? Shalom, shalom, peace. He had peace in his days. Until this redemption and peace, the Pada B'Shalom, being redeemed in peace, is referring to the complete wholeness of peace. What's complete peace? Is that those who were opposing us, those who were far and distant, right, the public domain, they become people who are loving and completely loving. As it will be completely in the true and complete redemption. As it says, then Hashem will turn to the nations. The nations is in plural. Safa Bura, they should all have a clear language. To serve Hashem with one shoulder, like all together. And he says, look into the Mittler Rebbe's explanation on this, which I don't know what it is, but somebody wants to look it up. There's a footnote. Okay, Shari Tshuva. Okay, so that's paragraph 6. Anybody wants to comment? Let me see who else came. S10. Oh, well, I don't know who you are, but welcome.
I think that's what we're talking about, is that they made it penetratable, permeable. They somehow, Shlomo made it permeable, that peace could happen. And the Alter Rebbe, he went in because he wasn't saying enough. That was really why, or he was saying too much or something. I say he was saying too much. That's why he
was revealing, right?
When it came out that the redemption was he was saying more. So too much and then more is better.
Well, that was the whole point, is that there was a question whether he could reveal so much. And by going through the incarceration process and breaking through that barrier of the opposition in the holy realms to godliness being revealed to such lowly creatures in such a lowly world, that gave the permission and the ability for him to actually break through even more than before. So that was the whole point.
Permission and ability. Ability is
also the ability. Yeah.
That's what we can
it's like what I was telling you yesterday. I was having some difficulty getting my message across, and then Rabbi Wolf said, "Well, that's just to get you to be able to do more, basically. Like
That's the whole idea of more.
Yeah,
More is
yes.
The more that's better, not the more that's not better.
Yeah, right. So it's like when you have a dam and it bursts, like we've seen. So the blockage is removed. There's a tremendous amount more of outpour than.
Right, but that's the more that's not better.
Well, yeah. Well, that was done in a destruction. But we see how much power there is when something is stopped, and then it's opened up.
That's the whole point. We have to use a fire hose, but not with the whole force. We have to be able to refine what we say so that people can hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fire hose will knock everybody over. Nobody's going to listen to that. We'll go to jail for sure.
Okay. So we'll have to have you edit what we say first. Okay.
The new kind of hose that says just as much water, but not with as much force, but said better so that it can be penetrated by the vessels.
Yes.
The people
Yes. There's a woman I know that has these idols in her house. And I really wanted to, anyway. Well, okay. Welcome back. I see we lost you. Okay, the Zoom is just re-enter in the Zoom. Just maybe tell women to re-enter in the Zoom so we don't have that. Welcome, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome, Karen. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Everybody come back.
Hear me?
I hear you now. Yes. Do you hear me? Is the question. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, I was muted. Okay, I'm back. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Good. Hi, Karen. I think we'll wait a second.
Did you say something important that I missed?
No, I'm waiting. Is everybody back on?
Alyssa's not.
Wait, we'll give her a minute.
She won't be.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about other people, but my sometimes, yeah, my instinct, if I see, there's another place I've gone to and that has idols. And my instinct is to like get rid of all the idols immediately. You don't want this in your house. You don't need this energy. You don't. It's not allowed. It's like you don't want idols in your house.
That's your instinct.
That's my instinct is to like just clear house immediately.
But what works?
Right. So my Rav was saying, learn with the person more, the Shar Yichud V'Emunah, what we're learning now in Tanya, the second part of Tanya, which talks about how God is one and God's the true reality and there's no other forces and powers and, idols don't have anything to them. They're non-existent,
Right. So you gave more, but better. And it's not a fire hose, like, get rid of these.
Yes.
No, you'd be sent away and never come back. Never invited
I don't know. Well, I did tell this person years ago.
Well, they were ready. That guy was ready.
No. So yeah, each person's different. So each person their level, their rate, and their. But it bothers me. So this is again one of those things. It's the outside, but I guess instead of letting it bother me, I said this is an opportunity, okay, to transform such darkness and such silliness and such opposition and such stupidity of an idol and cover up of godliness and transform God into the furthest place of stupidity.
Yeah, the question is, how can I say this? Oh, wait a minute. How can I say this?
Yeah. So
Like that.
right. So learn that God is one. There's no other forces aside from we go directly to God. We have the power to be directly in touch and in tune with God. And the highest form of powerful drawing down godliness through Torah and mitzvahs, beyond anything else can accomplish.
When they get that, they'll just get rid of them.
Yeah. So that's what the Rav was
You
saying.
won't have to say a word.
Yeah, but the problem is I have to go back to maybe because I'm not being given that opportunity so much to learn.
Yeah.
So with them, so it might
That's
take.
your work.
What?
That's your work.
To figure out how to learn more. Yeah. Okay.
How to get there. How to get past the barriers.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's go on to paragraph. What are we up to 7? Parshas Kach Sivan, 28th of Sivan. בשלשלת שיפוצו מנסך החוצה עצמה על ידי עובדי מנסיין היו כמה דרגות ושלבים. In throughout the generations of spreading the wellsprings of well springs of Chassidus to the outward through the different Rebbes, from the Baal Shem Tov till now. There's levels. There's number of levels and stages. B'meshach Hashivat Yishadot ma Baal Shem Tov throughout the 7 to 9 generations from the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe until our generation. After the Alter Rebbe, had Mozaken Shechai B'Lior Shnava Lacham Miken Biladi Hayov Din Nesena Kamadot Belubavitch. There were sometimes. The Alter Rebbe first lived in Liosna, then he lived in Ladi, and then he lived in Lubavitch. And after that, after that, after 7 generations from the Baal Shem Tov, the Lubavitch, dynasty moved to Rostov. Okay? Leningrad. After that to Leningrad, or Petersburg, which was called in those days. Poland. Oh, Petersburg was called later on. It was called Petersburg. Afterwards to Poland. Until the last final stage, when they came to the USA, and it's the lower hemisphere, in America, and quite a few number of places, until they came to the 770 building. We see in actuality. Even though in all the generations, in all the places, since the Baal Shem Tov, there was a revelation of Chassidus and spreading of the well springs outward. It was more in the time when they were in the lower hemisphere, which is in the United States of America. Where Torah wasn't revealed in the lower hemisphere in America, right? Torah was given in, near desert, on the other side of the globe. A higher hemisphere was a different area altogether. It was when Torah came and the Chassidim came and the Rebbe's came all the way to the United States. That's when he's galas the Chassidus specimens. That's when the spreadings of the Wolffe as Chassidus took off completely in a whole new way, much more strength and much more power and to go to it. Much more than in the previous generations and previous places before USA. Until it comes to the furthest of the furthest points, as we even see now simply, which is an incredible thought. We even had it right in space. Remember we saw that video? The guy was lighting or bought a menorah. I don't think he was able to light it. Yeah, or he lit it. I think he lit it in space. Or no, was that not possible to light it? He brought a dreidel or something. Oh, and the astronaut was talking about Hanukkah while he was in space.
He at least brought it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know if you're allowed to light it in space. That's a good question.
That'd be kind of a bad idea.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about physically. I'm talking about spiritually. Space is not in the dimension of time, so there's no night and day. You can't really. It's not in the. I don't think you can keep exactly mitzvahs necessarily with in a time zone.
Right. Not only that, if you light fire in a thing that blows up, that's not a good idea.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I guess they can't do that, but I'm wondering. It's a good question. What can an astronaut do and not do when he's in space when it comes to mitzvahs? When it's beyond the dimensions of time that we have here and space that we have here.
That's the beyond part.
Yeah. I know that the problem we have when you're on an airplane, when you're changing time zones also, but that they figured out. I don't know if they figured out yet space. That will be what we'll have to ask the Sanhedrin when they sit together, the 71 rabbis. Okay, that will be the next question, right? We'll get a lot of publicity.
It's really good that we're up to that question. That's
Yeah. Okay. How do you keep mitzvahs in space? Okay, here we go. Let's go. So the furthest, even up to space, that's what we're bringing, spreading the well springs happen after Torah and Hasidim came to United States of America. What's the reason? When we came specifically to the furthest part of the world, okay, so we see that example of when it was brought not just to the United States, when something Jewish or a mitzvah was brought to space, it got a lot of publicity, right? Everybody heard about the Jewish astronaut, right? Or a lot of people, much more than the phenomena of it just coming to another place in America. That's already, old news. So it became more, Hashem became more revealed to the world, specifically when something of Torah mitzvahs was brought to a further place in space. So it went so far that it brought more revelation of Hashem. More people heard about it. But Tama said the reason for this is, like we say, like when we come to the revelation of Matan Torah, Torah was given specifically down below in this physical world, not in the heavens, right? Even though the angels were like, why do we get it down here below? We have specifically when Torah is revealed in the lowest realm, the lowest physical world, then we reveal Hashem more through the advantage of revealing Him on earth. From this we understand that after Matan Torah, when you bring Torah into the lower hemisphere, the lower part of the world, where Torah wasn't given initially, it was given in the higher hemisphere, through bringing it further, right, to the lower parts of the world, then there's the advantage of revealing the light and the dark, right, in the earth, the complete wholeness of the revelation of Torah and the inner dimensions of Torah, but often in a way that the wellsprings are spread to the outside. Also, it's explained and understood, it's hinted to, alluded to in the number of the building of this address where the Rebbe is, which is the Merkaz of Lubavitch. It's the center of Lubavitch in the lower hemisphere of the world. From there, all light goes to the world through the spreading of the well springs out. The number is 770. As we know, 770 is the gematria of paratzta, which means to burst forth. So, Chabracha, with regards to what you said, be careful of the high fire hose, but we do want it to be in a way of bursting forth. We don't want to just trickle out very cautiously and delicately. He's saying, no, you want to burst forth. Make a splash. Make a splash.
Yeah, we have to know what that means. Yeah.
Nowadays, you have to do something out of the ordinary, right? You have to get any sort of attention. You have to kind of like burst forth a little bit, go out of your comfort zone, do something unusual, and something, right? To get the message across, or to get attention.
Yeah,
Uparatza, yeah, burst forth. Okay, so here we go.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah. Be'esh Loma. We could say, so not Serbis Chiddush. We have 770, so we have the whole, the connection of the number 7. It instructs us or reveals to us, or, is showing us the shleimus, the completion of the 7 days, of creation, or of the week, and the 7 midas, the 7 attributes that we have, meaning bringing influence to all levels, from chesed until malchus, all 7 levels of the attributes, of our emotional attributes. And the completion of the 7 is 700 times 7, which is 700. 100 times 7, which is 700. Together with 10 times 7, which is 770. So you have 100 times 7 plus 10 times 7, you got 770. And together, and that's why the 700 and the 70 together is the gematria, the numerical value of paratzta, which means to burst forth. Because the wholeness of the paratzta, of this bursting out, the pizza mikolagos is coming from all limitations of time and space, time and place. But the yam of the you should burst forth, right, east, west, north, south, up, down, right? Until we have the bursting forth within the bursting forth. It happens not through going out from time and space. No, we're not going this ignoring time and space and breaking, right? Like you said, we're not just ignoring time and space. The Rebbe says, no, we're doing it within the dimensions of time and space. And we're bringing time and space to its completion, to its wholeness. 770 is the shleimus, is the completion of the number 7. And the number, okay, it's okay. Klumar, so what does this mean? Shebiachadim, that together with this, sheyeshna pritza shelamala mimida v'gvula, together with being bursting forth beyond limitations, beyond measure, right, beyond the norms of nature, paratz, in a way of bursting, yeshnam gam azman makom, you still have place and time and place. We still, right, we're still working within the dimensions of our time, our place. So we know simply that the time and space of a binyan, of a building, has to be, a building has to have four walls to it, and it has to have a ceiling, etc. So it has to have, right, all the four sides up, down. Ella, shazman v'amakom atzmam nimtzein b'ofen shel paratza. So so we do have dimensions of space, right? But the time and space, it says, we make them to a way of paratza, that they're bursting. Meaning, dafka zman v'amakom lemata palim et shlemut inyan shel hapritza. We use time and space to be able to burst forth. So we're utilizing time and space to bring out this revelation of the spreading of the well springs outward. It says Yerushalayim in the future will be processed, will be open, a non-walled city. And together with that, Hashem will be our like our choma, our wall around us, a wall of fire. It says God will be our wall of fire around us. So I guess how you want to interpret this, we can talk about it. But like we already started talking about it, yeah, there's a point of breaking forth and going beyond limitations, but we're doing it within time and space. We're not just ignoring time and space. The Rebbe says we're using time and space to spread Yiddishkeit, to spread the well springs, to spread Chassidus. So we're utilizing, now's a good time, now's a good way, now's a good place, right? We're using the time and space to utilize, to being able to bring out Chassidus to the furthest corners. Comes the 770 Gematria Pratzna Nasama Kova Nitinat Koch So Yefutza Masecha Chutza. 770 becomes the source, and it gives strength to spread forth the well springs outside. B'chol makom, b'kol haolam kulan, the whole entire world. B'ofen shepalim et paratza v'tayifutza manesecha b'chutza, in a way that we bring the paratza, the bursting forth, and the yafutza manesecha, the bursting, spreading forth the well springs into the chutza, into the outside. Ad the chutza she'en chutza mimena, until the most farthest distant place where there's no more distant place than it. Till we reveal in it the Yiton Eretz, the advantage of the land in everything, the advantage of Hashem in the furthest part of the land. Okay? So the Rebbe said is adding that we're gonna end at this paragraph. When we finish this paragraph. What's the Sachakol? What's the conclusion? Shivim, 70. There was 70 years of the previous Rebbe. The completion of the 70 years of the previous Rebbe was when he was in America, in the lower hemisphere, in 770. That's where he lived in the last 10 years of his life. And on this, while he was alive in a body in this world, physical world, which gives afterwards the strength to the seventh generation. That recalls our generation, the seventh generation. That should be the complete wholeness of revelation of 70. 10 times 7, together with 100 times 7. The complete revelation of Yiton Eretz Malchus, of the advantage of the land, which is Malchus, which is the seventh sphere, the Kol in everything, which is in the Yesod. So the complete revelation is in the lowest realm, in the complete wholeness of the 7 midos, the 7 attributes, being revealing godliness. in their completion. That's what 770 alludes to. And the last paragraph, this all is revealed to us on the day of the 28th of Sivan, which reveals the power of this month, the third month, and the power of the Torah on this month. We're a nation of three. We have a Torah of three. We have a month of three, like we explained yesterday. All these things of three are connected to Matan Torah, to the giving of the Torah. So specifically down here in this physical world, in the way of three times three. Remember, we spoke about that yesterday, so I'm not going to go into it. But this is specifically, the Rebbe says, God's most potent power, and most strength, and most might is revealed when we reveal godliness in the furthest places, in the farthest places, where originally God is covered up and hidden from us. So that's it for today. I think I'm a little wiped out. If anybody wants to say something, you're welcome to, or ask something. Let's see if anybody joined and I didn't say hello. It's Sima Geffen, welcome. Okay, does anybody want to say something? I don't know, Sima, if you want, you can introduce yourself. It's not my class, I'm just teaching to somebody else, but if you want to introduce yourself, you're welcome to. I'm Yehudis Wolffe.
What a nice name.
Yes. I know Chavrachel looks at names. You probably remember names pretty well, Chavrachel, no?
Not English names. It's really funny.
Oh.
I don't know Hebrew, but I do not remember English names.
And you remember Hebrew names?
Yeah.
And what do you do in your mind when you hear a Hebrew name?
Something. I don't know what they mean, but something moves.
Visual? You see something visual? Do you visualize the letters, their form?
No, I don't. I just hear it.
You hear it?
In my mouth. I don't say it, but I hear it.
You hear it. And how do you remember it? You remember the sound of it?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the sound of it. Yeah, because the sound of, let's say, Betty doesn't sound like a sound.
Doesn't sound beautiful to your ears.
That's so interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
I knew a woman, a Jewish woman, she's a pianist and a very good pianist. And she could, in the days when phones had tones, you know, when you dial a number, it had a sound.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I don't know, dial, but I mean push button or something. I forgot what it was.
Yes.
But anyway, she remembered phone numbers by the sound that they made when you called the numbers because she
interesting.
was so tuned.
Interesting.
I'm not that.
Yeah. No, so she was an auditory learner. I'm a visual learner. I used to remember phone numbers when, you know, back when we needed to remember phone numbers because we didn't have to write them down. I could remember them by visualizing them.
Right. Yeah. I don't even remember how I remember phone numbers. But I'm visual also. But I think it's a mixture. We all learn in a mixture of ways.
Yeah.
Right now, I see a phone number, and I don't know it or memorize it, but I can see who it is, you know, by the phone number. It's related to a person. If I know, you know, if I put two and two together, if I see the phone number and I don't know the person and who it is, I don't know who it is.
Right. Yes.
Do you? Like when you see a phone number, like if you saw my phone number, you'd know it's me, right? Just by
so I pay now less attention to phone numbers because it's now I've gotten used to them being in my you know, and just in my phone. I don't need to remember it, so I don't pay attention to them so much anymore.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So I think I'm going to say goodbye. Should we say Psukim? Does anybody want to say the Psukim? Okay. Looks like most people are already gone by now, so I think